Welcome to Eternal Manna, the daily devotional broadcast of Grace Gospel Church. We are looking at Psalm 53, verse 1. The fool has said in his heart, "No God." And we looked at 5 reasons as to why people say there is no God. Now, how do we encourage people to believe in God? There is plenty of evidence available to prove that God does indeed exist. And I want to give you 5 of these examples of 4 examples or evidence as to how you can help someone to come to the conclusion there is God. Number one is God has revealed himself in creation. So if only a person looks at creation, they will, in all honesty, have to come to the conclusion that there is God. So Psalm 19 and verse 1. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Every day, creation is shouting to the reality of God. If only people have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. This amazing creation that God created is a wonderful visual evidence that God does indeed exist. And we read in Romans 1:20, for since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. As people look at creation, they have to conclude God does indeed exist and that he is a God of awesome power and wisdom and creativity and beauty. At least they have to come to that conclusion. So we can encourage people to look at creation, to study, for example, astronomy, the planets, and what an amazing, incredible world, universe God has created. All nature points to God. Now, the second evidence for God is the human conscience. The human conscience. We read in Romans 2:15, their conscience bearing witness. So God speaks to the conscience, and the conscience says, there is God. There is God. God exists. But what do people do? They try to drown the voice of conscience by literally shouting out and saying, there is no God. So you have to go against your own conscience in order to say, there is no God. Conscience is a very wonderful gift that God has given us. And everyone has it. And that conscience speaks to us in stillness and quietness and keeps whispering to us, God does exist. He is real. And but then what do we do with that voice? That's up to us. And that's where people try to shout it down and to drown that voice and go against the voice of conscience. So God does exist. We have looked at 2 evidences. We'll look at 2 more tomorrow. God bless you. Amen.